Josh Klingler, Chiefs Sideline Reporter for the Chiefs Radio Network. Kling, we were just talking about Eric Bieniemy, and there's a report that maybe Chicago would have interest. And Ryan Poles, we know the obvious connection there to Eric Bieniemy. I also just wonder if the Bears organization wants to hire another former Chiefs assistant, after how things in their mind went with Matt Nagy, even though he took Mitchell Trubisky to the postseason.
My kids are soft. I mean, pick up your socks, help your mother out around the house every once in a while when she asks you or doesn't. Unload the dishwasher without either one of us asking you. I mean, it's not that hard. Come on, kids. Going to the well would be interesting. I would also be interested in that second phone call, Alex, which would be Eric Bieniemy calling Matt Nagy and go, hey, what do you think of how this organization is run?
True.
Because I don't think that he'd probably get a glowing report that way either. Look, the Bears have had some massive dysfunction for years and years and years, and I think the little bit of the problem for Eric Bieniemy is at some point, if somebody offers, you just got to take it if you actually want to do this and not worry. Because there are a number of years maybe we were worrying about it for him, like let's find the right situation for him. He might not have that anymore.
He has to. He is at a point now.
If it's the Bears or anybody, you have to probably say yes if you're him at this point.
100%. You can't pick and choose anymore at this. Not at all.
I remember thinking, don't take that Texans job. They're just going to fire you. And they did for a while there. So they drafted C.J. Stroud. Kling, the Bills game is interesting because, one, you get a knockout opponent, one of only two teams that have mattered for the last 3 or 4 years in the NFL, but also they are desperate. They are more talented than their record, I think. Like, they're an incredibly dangerous team that would make me feel so much more confident about the Chiefs if they're able to just quickly right the ship after losing to Green Bay and beat Buffalo.
Yeah, I think this is a multi-layered game in that regard, right? The uneasy fan wants to feel better about what's happening with their team, the Chiefs, and then, if you still have concerns about, man, I don't want to let them in just in case they get hot at the end, knock them out. And that's where you're at with Buffalo. Like, they're teetering. They're not going to win the division, but they're going to maybe still fight for a playoff spot, and you can help at least, not end it, but put them on their way to ending it, and not have them be a problem in the postseason. I mean, in your heart of hearts, if this thing got to the end of December and you saw the Bills were in, you'd be like, oh man, maybe they figured. No, don't give them the opportunity. You have an opportunity both against the Bills and the Bengals coming up, two of the teams you thought were going to be there at the end. Don't even give them a chance to be there, from the beginning of the postseason. I'd feel a lot better about that.
Also, heading into this game, the Chiefs' defense is coming off their worst performance, and Nick Bolton, he's practicing today, but we'll see if he's able to play on Sunday. We know Tranquil's in concussion protocol. Brian Cook's at least missing this game, if not the rest of the season, with an ankle injury. Like, are you concerned that this defense, not so much their performance against the Packers, but how thin they're getting, and if they're having to play with different personnel, are we going to be worrying now suddenly about this defense on top of the offense?
Well, I think, knock on wood, until you lose the key guy, no. I think you can kind of fill in. Now, did they try to buy themselves maybe another week of Nick Bolton last week and would have been nice? Yeah, it looks like in hindsight, like if he was close to being ready, they probably were pretty precautionary. But you'd have loved to have him in the second half of that game, right, when you were playing another man down at linebacker. Cooks played awfully well. I still can't believe that's being called a sprain. Yeah. That looked nasty.
That ankle is in the wrong direction.
I'd retire.
Rough.
Personally.
And if that's a long-termer, that could have some effect on what you do in the secondary. They built some depth there as well, but I think, Cook is the clear and definitive player at that spot. And then, don't fall into the trap of having slow starts, right? We've seen this defense in the past. It felt like a Steve Spagnuolo defense would kind of be this way in a game. Like, take a couple haymakers early, figure it out, make the stops, finish the game, right? This defense hasn't done that really until the last 2 weeks, and then you're like, okay, don't fall into that trap of like it takes you a half to figure things out. Get off to a faster start. Easier said than done against Buffalo, which, as you mentioned, still has the personnel to be somebody that you feel like can put points up. But I'd just like to see a fast start from the defense. I'm always confident they're going to adjust as the game goes on. Look, they gave the Chiefs the ball back a couple of times offensively last week. So despite the fact they gave up the most points they've given up all season, they did slow things down and give the offense the opportunity. And then the offense has got to be able to capitalize where we know that that's been a little bit more of an issue.
Weirdly enough, I feel better about the offense, Kling, for one reason. If there are two things that are going to go wrong, you're bad in the red zone or you simply can't move the ball from 20 to 20. Well, bad in the red zone feels like I might just get lucky at least in a game and make it work. For a while, they weren't even moving it 20 to 20. Over the last two games, they are. Moving the ball is actually happening. They're just not cashing in. Does that mean the offense is getting better?
I mean, their ability to run the football, I thought looked good last week. Their ability to get some short yardage
Pacheco
stuff
didn't
done.
practice today, which isn't great.
Well, which is a little. But if he doesn't practice all week, that's fine. Save it because he's gonna go get thumped on the shoulder again on Sunday. But they were better in short yardage, which is a good thing. Yes, if you don't have him, vastly different. Even if you get Jerick McKinnon back, it changes. First, second down for sure. But their ability to pick up the short yardage, I'll take that at this stage. Continue to bring along Rashee Rice. Yes. Figure out a way to free up Kelsey a little bit more. I mean, I think that a little bit of that's incumbent upon the wide receivers, right? That if I'm game planning right now, it's like just crowd Travis Kelsey and make somebody else beat you. Get away from those things. And then, easier said than done with the penalties because last week, again, it was the offensive line with untimely penalties, gave up a couple sacks at inopportune times. The line, I think, is as thin as Andy Reid says it is, but it's not like, oh, wow, this thing's about to implode. It's like you're really on the line of everything's fine to well, we need to shore up some things. So there are, again, many, many worse teams out there, but I think there's enough going offensively that you're like, okay, if Bryce is going and if Kelsey's going and you're showing competence in running the football, I think everybody's going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we were talking earlier. Like, if this team was in the NFC and they're dealing with the Cowboys and the Niners and the Eagles, we wouldn't probably all be sitting here talking about them. Well, they could still find a way to sneak their way into a title game or a Super Bowl. Like, that'd be much different going up against those quarterbacks of those teams. But nobody's dominant in the AFC. And right now we're talking about backup quarterbacks, four of them maybe in the postseason.
Yeah, and, I mean, you've beaten the two of the three other top seeds, right? So, head-to-head. Win healthy, and we know that the Jags are not healthy. Is anybody really scared of Miami?
No.
I mean, I said it this morning. I'm like, what I'm scared of is that guy running his mouth if he beats you. That's about it. Like, I'm not scared of the team. I'm scared of the after effect of, God,
my
don't
goodness,
lose. Don't lose, and there's, 15-part podcast about how
how many times it had to be said. Yeah,
it was better when I was there. That nonsense. But I'm fearful of the team. No, I think you could beat them head to head. Baltimore's the only one we just haven't seen in a head to head manner. But can they get to that last game with you anyway? They haven't proven they can do that yet. So they need to figure out how to win playoff games first. So we can pick at all the things we don't like about the Chiefs, but I just keep looking around the league and look around the AFC. I don't know exactly how the scenario is going to play out. I just have a feeling like everything's going to crumble and the Chiefs are going to be the one seed again. Like everything's going to crumble around them. The Chiefs will figure out what they're doing. They'll just kind of do their thing, and they're gonna walk into the number one seed again, and it's going to be see what was all the consternation about.
I mean, the Chiefs are the same way. The AFC's all kind of in the same lost area, which is, if you can lose to the Browns, Steelers, and Colts, those are the Ravens' loss, you can certainly lose to the Chiefs. I mean, I think that game, I really feel like we're heading towards that's the AFC Championship game, either in Baltimore or in Kansas City. And it just feels like a 17-14 rock fight. Like, that's the kind of opponent you'd almost rather have in the postseason. The one that if everything clicks, you might still not have to score 30 against Kling. Like, if everything clicks for Miami, you better put up 30, 35 points. Offensively, you could easily get in a game with the Rams that's 20-17, 17-14, 21-8, whatever, some version of that game.
And if the defense plays at the level they've been playing at really all season long,
outside of the one game,
you're pretty confident they're going to do their thing and keep it manageable. And so you don't have to, this isn't playing, 42-40 or even with the Dolphins. Like, 30, okay, well we go, kind of a rougher day at the office. Yeah, that might be the one team you have to really score with, and we've also seen this defense do a very good job against them. So, it's just I just look around the rest of the AFC specifically and say there's no one I truly fear in a matchup with the Chiefs, and I like the fact that the Chiefs can kind of just get better, do your thing, play game to game. Hopefully, don't give any more back that you shouldn't, and you're gonna be just fine. Only one loss coming from the AFC as well. Look at the other teams in the in contention. They got AFC losses. The Chiefs have stayed out of that category. Hopefully they can again this week.
Last one before we let you go, Kling. We know today a lot of guys not practicing, including Isiah Pacheco with a shoulder sprain, I believe is what they're calling it. We know he had a torn labrum in the offseason. Hopefully this is all just precautionary for a guy that took a lot of hits and had 18 carries. But after that, I mean, McKinnon's been hurt. It's like Clyde Edwards-Helaire is potentially the guy. What's your feeling on Pacheco's availability?
Well, I mean, isn't he always going to have a shoulder contusion the way he runs? I mean,
yeah.
I would think every Monday he's like, "Oh, my shoulders are killing me." So is it worse than that, or
right.
you're? I mean, we're getting to that time of the year as well where you do give players rest and you do manage what they're doing. So, I mean, I don't see anything right now that says definitively, "Oh, watch out, you're not going to have him." It feels like that seems like a smart time to give him a rest. Get Jerick McKinnon back in the mix. They've had Deneric Prince on the roster the last few weeks and haven't used him. I'm not advocating, hey, go ahead and do that because you can, but I think that they've shown that they'll just try to be next man up anyway. And I just think Isiah Pacheco, I mean, as hard as he runs, he's going to have something every week, isn't he?
Yeah, probably. Last thing, Kling, there's a stocking hidden. We've decided as a team that if one of the three of us can find it, we can get Joe's for the show. Nice. Any guesses for where you think it might be? I'm told it is on this floor.
Oh, wow. I know it is not in the one place we looked today, which was our after-show meeting location.
Okay.
And several people that I haven't seen for months in the office have popped their head in to say hello. And it wasn't just to say hello, but it was to find.
Okay, so you guys looked pretty good. You looked under desks and stuff. Nothing showed up.
Yeah, nothing showed up, but I didn't overly look. But in the area we were in,
can't find it. We tried during the break.
It was not there.
Yeah.
People have been going through like old file cabinets.
Yeah.
There's stuff that hasn't been moved in our office in years. I don't know where this thing could possibly be hidden, but that's a good plan though. Share the wealth. Get out there during the commercial breaks.
That's what we can share. Like the $100 one, no, you can't share. The food, you can definitely share the Joe's Barbecue. You can definitely do that.
Absolutely.
All right, Kling. Appreciate it. We'll be listening tomorrow morning.
Thanks, guys.